All right, I am Tony Keeler. I'm the Director of Choral Activities at Oak Grove Middle School, and I am a graduate student taking the Technology and Education class at William Carey University. The purpose of this video is sort of to walk my students in my general music class through the last week of instruction for their class. So we're going to get started with that. On the agenda today, I want you to turn in your bell activity, look at your sheet, fill out the prompt that you have and get that turned in. And then there's a few people who are still missing paperwork for the field trip that we're going to do after Christmas. Make sure that you have that turned in. We're going to review fundamental theory for our exam. That's going to be on Friday. And we're also going to go over simple rhythm and meter and also look at note values. That was a little bit challenging for us the last time that we took a look at that for review. So we're going to spend some time making sure that you understand note values and the division of beat. And then we're going to talk about our popular music project. There are a few more things that we need to do to get the research activity part of that tied up. And after that, you'll be squared away. The purpose of this video is sort of for you to have an overview for the entire week. I want you to be able to refer to this video through the week so you can make sure that you've got the things that we're going to be doing on the final exam. You understand what you need to do as far as the popular music project is concerned, and also just to make sure that you've got everything in order so you can be successful in this class. So we're going to start with the staff and note values, okay? The staff that you see here, this is the treble clef. This is not the grand staff. That's a little confusing. So this is not the grand staff. We're just looking at the staff and we're looking at the treble clef. So we've got the note names, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. If you remember, we have several mnemonic devices that helps us remember the lines and spaces. F-A-C-E, spell face, all cows eat grass, every good boy does fine. Think about those devices that we've talked about, and that'll help you to be able to manipulate the staff. You will need to be able to look at the treble staff only and identify pitches and note names there. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about the piano keyboard and we're going to talk about whole and half steps, okay? Remember, a whole step is the distance between one key to the next, given the idea that a half step is the distance from one key to the next. So, a whole step combines two half steps. So, whole step, two half steps. A half step is one key to the next if you're going from left to right up the keyboard, okay? So let's look at the piano keyboard. Now remember, if we're going up the piano keyboard, we're going to call the pitches by their sharp names with reference to the black keys. If we're going down the keyboard, we're going to call the pitches by the suffix flat, for instance, C flat or D flat. And remember, if we have a key that has a different name for the same key on the piano keyboard, that word that we sometimes get confused about, it's called an enharmonic key or an enharmonic pitch. I can call the pitch F sharp, G flat. I can call the pitch E flat, D sharp. I can call the pitch D flat, C sharp. Harmonically, they are the same pitch. They sound the same. Your ear hears the same pitch, but depending on if you're going up the keyboard or down the keyboard, you're going to call those things differently with reference to sort of the situation. So make sure if you're going up, it's called a sharp. If you're going down, it's called a flat. With reference to whole steps and half steps, two half steps equal one whole step. A half step is the distance from one key to the next. Now, we have natural half steps that occur. Those two natural half steps are noted here, and take a look, and I want you to make sure that you understand that those two natural half steps occur between the pitches E and F and B and C. There is not a black key between those pitches to separate or to show us that we've got a half step that could be in harmonics. So those are sort of built in. Think about those. If you look at a piano keyboard and I ask you to fill it in and label the half steps and whole steps, I want you to look at E and F and B and C, and you should know automatically that those are, in fact, half steps. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about that you'll see on your exam is solfege. Now, remember the word solfege derives from the French origin, okay? And solfege is the process of assigning specific hand signals to pitches on the piano keyboard. We have several solfege syllables that we can use that can help us in the process of decoding music. Those signals, those hand signals that you make, also have syllables. I want you to know these syllables. Our first syllable is do, our next syllable is re, then we have mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then we have do, which represents the octave, and that octave has the same hand signal as the lower do. Now, I'll also want you to be able to form each hand signal as we go through and I test your pitch recognition. The next thing that you'll see on your exam is the image of the rhythm tree. We've looked at this several times before, but I just want to make sure that you understand the idea of dividing the beat, of it getting smaller as you go down and as it getting larger as you move up. So the largest that we're going to see as far as rhythms are concerned is the whole note, which represents 4 beats, and the smallest will be the 32nd note. So you've got the whole note that represents 4 beats, the half note that represents 2 beats, the quarter note that represents 1 beat, the eighth note that represents a half of a beat, and then you've got even smaller divisions, which are the 16th note and the 32nd note. So remember, you're just reducing as you go down. One whole note is equal to 2 half notes. To get 4 beats, you need 2 half notes because a half note gets 2 beats. If you were using quarter notes, to get 4 beats using quarter notes, you'd have to have 4 quarter notes. But remember, a whole note gets 4 beats, a half note gets 2 beats, a quarter note gets 1 beat, an eighth note gets a half of a beat, and then we've got 16th notes, and then we've got 32nd notes. And we're not going to particularly focus on their duration of time and rhythm, but I just want you to understand that we can divide all the way down to 16th and 32nd notes. Okay, so we're going to switch gears now, and we're going to talk a little bit about your popular music project and the task that you should have completed up to this point. You should have completed the plagiarism video, and I wanted you to send 5 useful facts that you gleaned from that video to the email address that you're using for this project. Remember, that email address is oakgrovemiddleschoolsingers@gmail.com, and that should have been completed by the 10th of December. Then, after completing that assignment, I wanted you to go and watch the MLA format video, and I wanted you to find 2 internet sources per partner using the MLA citation format chart that you were taught how to construct in that video. After you found those sources and you sort of understood how to find good research and good sources on the internet, I wanted you to begin looking for facts for your popular music topics. Remember that I want you to cite any internet resource you use, and again, that chart is the key. That tells you every single piece of information that you're looking for when you're trying to figure out if a site is going to be useful for the project that we're working on. Make sure that these assignments are completed up to this point, and then we're going to move on. And your task for today will be to finish locating your sources for the research section of your project. Remember, you need to have a total of 5 sources for this section of the project. Now, that's 5 sources per partner. That can be from internet sources, that can be from magazines, that can be even images or photos. Those are all sources, those are all materials that you can use to create your presentation. And remember, you have to have that source chart for each source. And if you have located all of your 5 sources today, I want you to begin formatting your one-page reflexive essay. And if you have questions, you can refer to the project outline that you received last week that has all of the things that you need to do outlined on it. So if you're done with the sources and you're working ahead, you can start on your reflective essay. Just in case you needed a refresher on citing an internet source, here's how you do it. Make sure that you've got the name of the site. Then you have the name of the organization or the publisher, the date that this source was created, if it's available. Then you're going to put a comma and then web, because that's the format that you have it in, and then you have the date you went there. Now, you don't have to add the URL if you're just following the specific rules, but a lot of times it's left up to the preference of your instructor. So I do want you to put the URL, and that begins with www. Whatever the rest of the URL is. So that's how you cite the internet source.